Hey, folks. Hey, welcome to the Basement Show podcast. Sure, that's right, baby. That's right. We're going to get right into it, T. This one's called Around Town. Yeah. All right. So we're here to take you on a tour. New England has a lot of interesting landmarks. And
On a journey.
On a journey, baby girl. And we have a lot of interesting landmarks and places to visit here. So today we're headed to Fall River, the Rev Kid. You know, Massachusetts, for a little tour of the Lizzie Borden House. Oh, yeah, you've heard of that before. Believe it or not, you can spend the night in a place that has been voted among the world's best haunted hotels. That's right, baby. If you have no idea who Lizzie Borden is or why anyone would want to stay in her house, relax. We've got you covered.
Of course we
Fancy
do.
that. The Lizzie Borden murder case abides as one of the most famous in American criminal history. New England's crime of the Gilded Age, its seemingly senseless, captivated the national press. Part of the puzzle of why we still remember Lizzie's crime lies in Fall River, Massachusetts, a textile mill town 50 miles south of Boston. Yeah, Fall River was rocked not only by the sheer brutality of the crime, but also by who its victims were, cultural, religious, and class in the town, which shape debates over Lizzie's guilt or innocence and draw the whole country into the case. In the early hours after the discovery of bodies, people only knew that the assassin struck the victims at home in broad daylight on a busy street 1 block from the city's business district. There was no evident motive, no robbery or sexual assault. For example, neighbors and passers-by heard nothing. No one saw a suspect enter or leave the Borden property. Moreover, Andrew Borden was no ordinary citizen. Like other Fall River Bordens, he possessed wealth and standing. He had invested in mills, sorry. Mills.
He loved cows.
That's right, baby. Mills, banks, and real estate. But Andrew had never made a show of his good fortune. He lived in a modest house on an unfashionable street instead of on the hill, Fall River's lofty, leafy, silk-stocking enclave. 32-year-old Lizzie, who lived at home, longed to reside on the hill. She knew her father could afford to move away from a neighborhood of middle-class standing. On the morning of August 4th, 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found brutally murdered in their home.
Ooh.
By this time, Lizzie was 32 and her sister Emma was 41. Oh! Both were spinsters and still lived with their father and stepmother. However, on the day of the murders, Emma Borden was out of town visiting a friend in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, about 15 miles away. Class divisions played into keeping Lizzie off the suspect list at first. She was, after all, a Sunday school teacher at her wealthy Central Congregational Church. People of her class could not accept that a person like Lizzie would slaughter her parents. But during the interrogation, Lizzie's answers to different police officers shifted, and her inability to summon a single tear aroused police suspicion. Then an officer discovered that Lizzie had tried to purchase deadly prussic acid a day before the murders in a nearby drugstore. 5 days after the murders, authorities convened an inquest, and Lizzie took the stand each day. The inquest was the only time she testified in court under oath. Even more than the heap of inconsistencies that police compiled, Lizzie's testimony led her into a briar patch of seeming self-incrimination. Lizzie did not have a defense lawyer during what was a closed inquiry, but she was not without defenders. The family doctor, who staunchly believed in Lizzie's innocence, testified that after the murders, he prescribed a double dose of morphine to help her sleep. Its side effects, he claimed, could account for Lizzie's confusion. Her 41-year-old spinster sister, Emma, who also lived at home, claimed that the sisters harbored no anger toward their stepmother. Yet the police investigation and the family and neighbors who gave interviews to newspapers suggested otherwise. With her sister Emma 15 miles away on vacation, Lizzie and Bridget Sullivan were the only ones left at home with Abby after Andrew left on his morning business rounds. Bridget was outside washing windows when Abby was slaughtered in the second-floor guest room, while Andrew Borden was bludgeoned in the first floor sitting room shortly after his return.
You?
The servant was resting in her attic room, unable to account consistently for Lizzie's movements. The judge, district attorney, and police marshal determined that Lizzie was probably guilty. Interesting.
Girl, you probably guilty.
Yeah, most likely, to the slammer. Lizzie was arrested on August 11th, 1 week after the murders. The judge sent Lizzie to the county jail. This privileged suspect found herself confined to a cheerless 9.5 by 7.5 foot cell for the next 9 months. Lizzie's arrest provoked an uproar that quickly became national.
Objection?
Objection. I moved to strike. Listen to us laughing about death. I love it. Women's groups rolled to Lizzie's side, especially the Women's Christian Temperance Union and suffragists.
Suffragettes.
Suffragists, yes.
Suffragettes.
Thank you. Lizzie's supporters protested that at trial she would not be judged by a jury of her peers because women, as non-voters, did not have the right to serve on juries. Lizzie could afford the best legal representation throughout her ordeal. During the preliminary hearing, one of Boston's most prominent defense lawyers joined the family attorney to advocate for her innocence. The small courtroom above the police station was packed with Lizzie's supporters, particularly women from the Hill. At times, they were buoyed by testimony, at others unsettled. For example, a Harvard chemist reported that he found no blood on 2 axes and 2 hatchets that police retrieved from the cellar. Lizzie had turned over to the police 2 days after the murders the dress she allegedly wore the morning of August 4th. It had only a minuscule spot of blood on the hem. Her attorney stressed that the prosecution offered no murder weapon and possessed no bloody clothes. As to the prussic acid, Lizzie was a victim of misidentification, they claimed. In addition, throughout the Borden saga, her legion of supporters was unable to consider what they saw as culturally inconceivable. A well-bred, virtuous Victorian woman could never commit patricide. On June 20th, 1893, after just 90 minutes of deliberation, Lizzie was acquitted of all charges due to a lack of forensic evidence linking her to the scene. Upon hearing the verdict, Lizzie let out a yelp of joy. No one else was ever investigated for the crime, and the case remains officially unsolved. And if you decide to book a stay at the Lizzie Borden House, here's some things you might want to know. When you enter the historical Lizzie Borden House, you may feel a bit as though you've stepped back in time. They keep the house decorated similarly to how it was when Lizzie Borden and her family lived there, as much as reasonably possible. We have books owned by Lizzie Borden and several other original artifacts on display. The Art Deco radiators are original to the house, as are floorboards stained by Andrew Borden's blood from the murder in the Under the Hatchet basement suite, shared owner Lance Zal. It's not all scares and ghost sightings at Lizzie Borden House, though. In fact, you can expect to sleep well and comfortably in the aptly titled Ghost Bed mattresses. All new pillows, pillowcases, sheets, duvets, and duvet covers, kid, have been added for optimal comfort in each room, whores. Special romance packages are available for guests who are planning a spooky but romantic getaway. I love you. To death. Guests can opt in to eat breakfast for an additional $20 per day. Vegan diets and other special dietary needs are honored, but you'll need to make your requests to the chefs each morning. And if you don't want to spend the night, you can take a tour. A variety of tours are offered at the Lizzie Borden House each day, and virtual tours were added this year. So even if you can't visit the bed and breakfast in person anytime soon, you can still enjoy a full tour experience. That's cool. A 90-minute house tour will take you through all the rooms of the house. A 90-minute ghost tour is offered nightly, includes other haunted spots in Fall River. 2-hour ghost hunts take place later in the night and are terrific for those who want to do a ghost hunt in the Lizzie Borden House. And now that we've shown you around town today, be sure to ring the bell to be notified, when we drop new mediocre content. And please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back next week with a full what?
Oh, it's going to be a full episode.
That's right, baby. That's right. So
Do you think
join
she did
us.
it?
There's a possibility, you know. But due to lack of forensic evidence,
Oh, wow.
yeah, the world.
I didn't know you were going to Law and Order me.
I know, right? Law and Order has to be you. Woo! That's right, baby. Have a good day, everybody.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Yes. Yes.